warning before you listen. This epic is not for children, nor for the faint of heart. We retell the ancient Greek myths as they were born, unfiltered, unsoftened. Scenes of violence, curses, betrayals, and a hunger for power that shows no mercy. Given the many conflicting versions of the Titan War, the events have been rebuilt to complete the missing pieces. Here, we tell the myth as it was meant to be told. Sources and references are listed in the episode description.
Chapter 110. The Third Flame. When the Dead Return to Finish the Massacre. A burst beneath the ashes, and a corpse returns to settle the score. The battles had reached a fever pitch. In the skies, Zeus tore clouds apart with bolts of fury. In the sea, Poseidon's trident carved through waves like serrated knives. And on the earth, hell exhaled through every crack, wearing many faces. Here, in the dirt soaked with blood and fire, the war was no longer a story. It was scripture, carved in molten stone. Atlas, still standing, still striking. Blow after blow, tireless, merciless. Briareus and Cottus, giants of 100 hands, refused to fall, refused to yield. Their arms, machines of ancient wrath, struck with purpose. They hadn't come for battle, they had come to bury thrones. Each strike from Atlas cracked valleys into the warfield. Each reply from the giants ignited the battlefield. Fire poured from mouths, from feet, from the very breath, as if every stone had become a cauldron, as if every exhale summoned hell. This was no longer a fight between bodies. It was a collision of planets. The sky had turned black, the ground glowed beneath their feet, trying, perhaps, to hide its pain beneath rivers of lava. But on the far end of the battlefield, Menoetius rose. His body was covered in fractures of flame. He no longer spoke, but screamed in a language unknown to the living, a tongue only the underworld could understand. He raised his arms. A vortex of fire and smoke swirled above him, and then he struck. It wasn't a blow aimed at flesh, it was hurled at fate itself. It slammed into Hades. He blocked it, but the impact forced him to a knee. He rose. The ground beneath him cried out. But Hades was not the type to answer violence with equal violence. He answered with nightmares. He reached down, fingers driving into the scorched earth. As if a boulder had been waiting for his call. The air shifted, the sky dimmed. Time seemed to halt, as if asking, "What is happening?" The ground split open. Black ash spilled forth. Then a shoulder, a chest, and a single eye, sightless but terrifying. Gigantes, Gigantes, the dead. The 100-handed one who had fallen when the first lightning shattered the world had returned. No voice, but his return thundered louder than any scream. The giants gasped. Atlas's soldiers shrieked as if they had seen death take form. But this was not the Gigantes they remembered. He had not just 100 hands, but 100 flames. His face was like a shattered statue, his chest an open furnace from which the smoke of the dead poured. He growled. And Hades? He did not smile. He simply pointed. Gigantes advanced, stomped the earth. A tunnel of fire burst toward Menoetius. He charged, like an entire grave charging to collect its vengeance. Menoetius stepped back. But Gigantes didn't speak. He struck. The first blow hurled Menoetius like a rootless boulder. The second broke his balance. The third embedded a flame that would never be extinguished. His blood wasn't blood.
but shadows vaporizing. Menoetius fell, not dead, but the earth itself rejected his standing. Soldiers gasped, giants roared, and Hades, he let out a dry, cruel laugh, then said, "I do not summon the dead. I summon what must never be forgotten." And for a moment, Cronus's front line fell silent, not because the ground had collapsed, but because memory had risen from its grave. The absence of Gigantes had never been death. It had always been waiting, waiting for the right moment to return. And in that instant, the earth understood. Hell was never made only for punishment. It was made for vengeance. This chapter of the epic has come to an end, but remember, what you've just heard is not a record of facts, but the echo of a myth, a story born from the imagination of the ancients, etched into the long memory of humankind. If this tale stirred something in you, if it opened a door to reflection or wonder, don't forget to support the channel and share the journey with those you love. And in the comments, tell us, which moment in this chapter struck you the most and why? We'll meet again in the next chapter of this audio odyssey through time. Until then, farewell.